comparing and contrasting an aged presidential candidate with 50 years of public service who prioritizes the country's welfare versus a convicted criminal candidate focused on self-interest and divisive rhetoric brings out stark differences. Experience in public service. Aged candidate, extensive experience. With half a century of service, this candidate has a deep understanding of governmental operations, policymaking, and international relations. Track record. Such a long career typically includes significant achievements and a proven commitment to public service. Institutional knowledge. Familiarity with the workings of government institutions and the nuances of legislation and diplomacy. Convicted criminal candidate, limited or controversial experience, often lacks traditional political experience or has experience marked by legal and ethical controversies. Disruptive approach, may not value the norms and processes that uphold democratic institutions. Focus on self-preservation. Their criminal background suggests a history of putting personal gain above legal and ethical standards. Motivations and priorities. The aged candidate is likely driven by a sense of duty and the desire to leave a lasting positive impact on the nation. Their policies and actions are oriented towards benefiting the majority and ensuring the stability and prosperity of the country. Concerned about how their leadership will be viewed historically, they often aim to be remembered as a statesman. On the other hand, the convicted criminal candidate's primary motivation may be self-preservation, seeking power to avoid legal consequences or to enrich themselves. They often use hate speech and lies to polarize the electorate, manipulate public opinion, and consolidate power. Focused on immediate benefits rather than the long-term national interest, their policies might cater to a narrow base or personal interests. Leadership and governance style. Aged candidate, collaborative, more likely to work within established systems, build consensus, and value expert advice and bipartisan support. Experienced decision-making decisions are informed by decades of experience and an understanding of complex issues. Steady and predictable provides stability and continuity, often important in maintaining both domestic and international trust and relations. Convicted criminal candidate, autocratic tendencies, may exhibit a preference for centralized power, ignoring checks and balances. Impulsive and erratic. Decisions may be unpredictable, driven by personal whims rather than careful deliberation. Erosion of trust. Their criminal background and divisive tactics can erode public trust and damage international relationships. Ethical and moral standing. Aged candidate. Ethical leadership generally holds higher moral and ethical standards, emphasizing integrity and accountability. Public trust is more likely to be trusted by the public and international partners, due to a history of service and adherence to the law. Convicted criminal candidate. Ethical concerns arise as their past crimes and ongoing legal issues raise serious ethical questions. They may be manipulative, using deceit and manipulation to gain and maintain power, which undermines democratic norms and values. Impact on democracy and society. Aged candidate strengthens democracy. By prioritizing the country's needs and adhering to democratic principles, they reinforce the institutions and norms that sustain democracy. Inclusive leadership promotes unity and works for the collective good, often focusing on policies that benefit a broad segment of society. Convicted criminal candidate threatens democracy. Their focus on personal gain and divisive rhetoric can undermine democratic institutions and social cohesion. Exacerbates divisions. By exploiting societal fractures, they can deepen divisions and create a more polarized and unstable political environment. In essence, the aged candidate represents a commitment to the nation's stability and ethical governance, whereas the convicted criminal candidate symbolizes a threat to democratic values, driven by self-interest and polarizing tactics.